Greetings, greetings of peace and joy and love. Here's my heart, from my heart to yours, Miracles with a Twist, June 30th, 2023. I got some really great reviews and responses, texts and calls from you telling me how much you love the outdoor settings. And yet here we are indoors again. But I did go out early this morning in an attempt to beat the heat, which isn't really possible this time of year in South Florida. But I went over to this beautiful park, Midlands Park. We have a couple of lakes, and I had a nice spot with ducks having their morning meeting, some little ibis walking around. They'll be in my front yard later for the bird seed. And I thought it was going well. I was starting to talk to you, and then the city folks came around with the big guns, like, I don't know, they're chopping down a tree or something, but it was loud, whatever they were doing. And so, like, all you would see is my lips moving. And, we're not here for that. We're here to really see where spirit takes us. So I want to start by telling you a story of something that happened a few days ago. I start my mornings usually with a series of practices to get into the day, usually pretty early in the morning. And sometimes what I do is I listen to other teachers. So I was scrolling through YouTube looking to see if anyone had a current day lesson video. But what I came across was one that was a little bit older. It was from lesson 157, which is June 5th, somewhere around there. And but I felt the need to stop and listen. And this particular teacher she stopped herself from discussing the lesson to explain why she was weepy. She was weepy. And she said that she was going through a breakup and that she was really having a hard time. And so she was talking about how she was really trying to, take an elevated view of her experience so that she could just sort of get through the day and the days ahead. And I really appreciated the rawness and the realness of her explaining that, because it just so happened that was a day where I was a little bit weepy myself for different reasons. There was some memory sharing going on that brought up some feelings. And I was thinking about how we often, when we talk about our spiritual lessons or we're doing our spiritual lessons, that we try to get to a place in our life where we're not affected by so much of our earthly ego type experiences. But the truth of the matter is that the Course never tells us that. It never tells us not to have our experiences. And no spiritual path tells us to deny our experiences. In fact, when we do that, that's where we get into spiritual bypassing, when we're denying the truth of what's going on in our earthly ego, fear-based, shattered heart, whatever it is that's going on. We don't deny that. But we watch ourselves through it. We watch how we go through it, how we grow through it, how we transform ourselves as a result of it. And so I was thinking about that, and it turned out that later in the day, there was a transformation. I went out, I was with friends, there was music, there was dancing, there was joy. And so in the course of the day, there was sadness and weepiness based on some old memories. And then there was this transformation to an elevated emotional state and being able to experience joy. And I was thinking about how it is always up to us to see how it is that we can be with whatever is, just like the Tao. The Tao is a beautiful mystic path that tells us to just be like the rocks in the river, let the water flow over us. And sometimes we get bashed around, sometimes we get hurt. It's a bumpy road to enlightenment. There's bumps and bruises and potholes and detours. And it's all about being with it, being in it, but not changed in a negative way, not seeped into the identity of that hard time, but to see how we can rise higher as a result of it, and perhaps even use it for the better good and to help others, to be of use and of service. And so it just so happens that at around, I think it was the same day, I came across an interview with RuPaul. And considering it's Pride Month and he's probably the world's most famous drag queen, I stopped to listen, and it turned out that it was really quite profound and in line with what the woman was talking about and what the lessons are all about and what our life is all about, truly. So someone was talking to him about, prejudice and discrimination and homophobia and all the darkness and all the political stuff. And so he said, the gospel according to RuPaul. Yes, there's darkness, but don't stare at the darkness. It will make you crazy. It'll make you cross-eyed. It'll make you what it is. The solution is to make magic, dance, sing, love, find joy, create joy. And it just so happens that even with all of that, I hadn't gone back to listen to the entire lesson that the weeping teacher was teaching. And so I thought, well, let me just pick up the book and see what 157 has to say. And this is where the magic happens. The lesson is 157, into his presence would I enter now. This is a day of silence and trust. It is a special time of promise in your calendar of days. It is a time of heaven set aside to shine upon and cast a timeless light on this day when echoes of eternity are heard. This day is holy, for it ushers in a new experience, a different kind of feeling and awareness. Today you learn to feel the joy of life. Honestly, that's what it says. That's the synchronicity, the spiritual synchronicity of messages, how we need to hear it, when we need to hear it. So today is about joy, thinking about how no matter what happens, however it happens, that we can transform ourselves, our emotions, our vision, so that we are used by the ego or of use to the Holy Spirit. And how we do that is by willfully allowing ourselves to be in that process of transformation from wherever we were to wherever we're going to go, and everything in between as well. And then, of course, I thought about something I had written in The Bumpy Road to Enlightenment. It was based on a dream I had many, many years ago. It was a dream about the Dalai Lama and all these little miniature Dalai Lamas that showed up in the dream. The other night I had a dream about the Dalai Lama. He was sitting in a room surrounded by a crowd of miniature versions of himself. He was smiling like he does in all the photos we see of him. All the little miniature Dalai Lamas were smiling too. Everyone looked exactly alike, and they went from smiling to laughing and then back to smiling. Their laughter was full and hearty, the kind that makes your head fall back while you hold your stomach and burst out with a big noisy ha ha ha. You know that laughter? You know that laughter. There's such joy in that laughter when we get to experience it, when we get to have it, even if it's just for a moment, even if it's just for a glimpse of the relief that we can have from our sad times, bad times, weepy times. And then to finish up this lesson with a particular portion that I thought was specific for us to remember. Again, 157, and now this is paragraph 5. From this day forth, your ministry takes on a genuine devotion and a glow that travels from your fingertips to those you touch and bless those you look upon. A vision reaches everyone you meet and everyone you think of or who thinks of you. For your experience today will transform your mind so that it becomes the touchstone for the holy thoughts of God, entering into the presence, entering into a holy instant, a sacred moment, a quiet moment, a peaceful moment, a release of everything that's earthbound into our connection with spirit. And then remembering that your mind is a touchstone for the holy thoughts of God. Imagine that. So today's the day to remember that and to make joy, make magic. I know you can do it. God bless you.